Yo, yo, we are back with a penny for my thoughts, and we're about to hear about Jordan's drug habit. Let's do it. Let's do it. So it's a dark and stormy night. No, you're up on a roof, I guess. I don't know. Where do you want to start this?
Yeah. So I was on the roof, and I just needed to get away and get my fix. And I didn't realize I was being followed, but I mean, I guess that's what groupies are for.
To follow you, fair.
Yeah. So I realized after my first line of cocaine that I wasn't alone, because cocaine wasn't the only thing I smelled. All of a sudden, there was this whiff of a familiar smell, and my wife and her groupie team was with her, and my wife immediately was a little shocked and looked at me and asked, "Is that what I think it is?" I don't. It's a little fuzzy on how I responded. I mean, I did just take a snort of cocaine.
This is implying she didn't know?
Oh, yeah. This is at least the first time she found out. Or maybe not. Maybe she already knew.
Who are you asking?
Yeah. We'll start with you, Caleb.
KK. So she said, "Is that what I think it is?" And you said, "No, I'm snorting baby powder. What do you think?" And basically just played it off really snarky, like, because you weren't in the mood for this, and you just wanted to be left alone right now.
Okay. Seth, I saw that smile.
Oh, you saw it. You turn to her and you say, "Back off." It's not like back off. This isn't yours.
Whoa.
Take with that what you may.
I'm going to take that as I'm going with that one, Seth. And it's at that point she says, I thought you learned in school not to
Say no to drugs.
No, I thought you learned in school that sharing is caring. And to which I just looked at her and said, "Well, sharing is caring. That's why I'm not sharing."
Or wait, or did he? I mean,
it just sounds like a continuation of the same.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll give you that.
It was at that point that my wife gave me a push, and I was just mad at that point. I stumbled back a little bit, and I was just mad. And I looked at her, and I looked over off the side of the building, and then I looked back at her, and now what did I do? It's all the cocaine, man. It's just. So what did I do, Emily?
So she pushed you. You are getting really angry. You decide to go ahead and snort a little more cocaine. And
Angry snort cocaine.
and then you kind of say, it would be dangerous to keep pushing someone up here, wouldn't it? And kind of like give her like a little tap on the shoulder.
Twits. I like that. Caleb, what do you think actually might have happened? If that's not what happened, what might have?
I think something different happened. I think you looked at your wife and said, I'm trying to think of how far I want to take this. You look at your wife and you say, oh man, I'm having trouble. I'm trying to think.
No, I hear you.
We've stumped Caleb.
Dun dun dun. Wait, that was the wrong
I
song.
have a reputation to maintain.
That's what you say to her. I have a reputation to maintain.
Okay, I'm just gonna go with the initial thing I thought that I wasn't sure what you do. So instead of tentatively threatening about the pushing her off, I think you just legit just push her off the building.
Oh,
One of you had to do it.
I mean, yeah.
And whether or not it was an accident, who knows? But you push, and she happens to be standing, next to the lip of the roof.
Oh. This is the second decision, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going with Caleb's.
Awesome.
Push her off. Oh my
So
gosh.
I just got so mad, and I
Mm-hmm.
just ran up to her, and I didn't even say a word. I just grabbed her shoulder and threw her off the side.
Mm-hmm.
And then I turned to her friends and said, "Ladies."
I'm imagining mafia voice just coming. Ladies, listen.
Ladies, we don't need to make this any more complicated than it needs to be. You can keep following me around if you don't say a word about this.
Did you really do that?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I don't know.
I
If you, I don't know if you did
I
that.
turned to them. I turned to them and saw that I had witnesses.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So what did I do? Seth?
Dang it, I'm still thinking.
I could pass the flame off to another.
I'm just gonna go for it.
Okay.
You look at them, and you pull your gun out of your holster.
Oh, shot the sheriff!
And basically, like, threaten them with it, right?
I'm leaving it open as to what he does with
Right,
it,
right.
but
Shoots everyone.
Okay. Emily, what do you think I might have done?
You look up and see you have witnesses, and you just say, if you don't want to end up like her, you scram and you never speak a word of this.
Just pull out a gun indiscriminately, or that sounds like that would go a lot worse for you.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Seth's because this has to be.
Yes.
So,
Seth has
Emily, you
so
just
many
gotta
pennies.
be more awful.
you just
Well,
have
I
to be-
tried that and it didn't work.
So I pull my gun out of its holster, and I look at them, and I look back at the gun. And I look at them, I look back at the gun, and I say, I don't even know where I got this, but I know how to use it. And so I just started going off on this random tangent about decisions and women and partying and cocaine and how
All
I
the
just wanted
important
to
things in life.
yeah, all the important things in life and how I just wanted to be left alone and I didn't want it to have to come to this. And while I'm doing that, I shot my gun in the air. And that's when the police arrived and we learned after I had been arrested that that bullet went up and actually landed in someone else's backyard and it killed a kid.
I don't think that's actually
What?
possible.
It is. If you were to shoot it straight up, it wouldn't go straight up and back down. It would go up and then it would.
Oh, I know. I'm saying I think the terminal velocity isn't enough to actually kill someone.
If it would come back down.
No, I don't think it is.
Let's look it up.
Because if you drop a penny from the Eiffel Tower, it won't kill anyone. It'll just hit someone in the head pretty hard. I don't know though. I'd look it up, but I don't think it actually would kill anyone. It's not to say that it would be a smart thing to do. It would definitely hurt someone. I'm just not sure it would kill anyone.
Can
I
falling bullets kill you? Let's see.
I bet that's a Mythbuster thing.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. You know, I can retcon that and fix that. So instead of shooting it up into the air, he's just going off and he's throwing his hands everywhere. I am just going off, throwing my hands everywhere, going off on this tangent, and I just happened to pull my trigger like off in a random direction, and it turned out that it was toward like another party, like a neighbor from a few blocks down. They were having a barbecue and the kid was outside and the kid got the bullet.
So it seems like it is possible, but pretty unlikely.
Okay.
So you're saying there's a chance.
So you killed 2 people in one night.
My wife didn't die. She just had an accident off the roof.
In Puerto Rico, about 2 people die and about 5 more are injured each year from celebratory gunfire on New Year's Eve.
Ooh.
So that's the thing.
You're like old timey.
Yeah,
game.
that's our home phone. It keeps ringing.
Home phones
Over
exist.
and over. I know, yeah. My dad has like a business that he runs out of his house, so he has a phone for it. So.
And that night I remember as the cops were, as I saw the cops pull up, I realized that I had just enough cocaine for one more sniff, and I didn't want to get caught with it, so I just decided.
Right, it's
just
take it.
I just took all of it, every bit that I had, and well, that's all I remember of that night.
So you did kill a kid?
I did kill a kid.
I missed it when I was looking at it.
So I was swinging my arm randomly around, winging it everywhere, and then it shot, and it happened to be in the direction of the barbecue.
Gotcha.
Poor kid got. I actually totally stole that from a song, but good old Skid Row.
Yeah, there you go. So what was unpleasant about it? I killed my wife and a kid and got arrested.
Well, the wife didn't die.
Oh, did she?
No, she survived, but
Somehow.
I mean, you can fall pretty far and not die.
That's true. People have survived from falling from a skydive.
Exactly.
yeah, she was drunk, so she didn't really feel anything. She was numb. She was numb enough. So she was a witness to the whole thing.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, Seth, it's time for your last memory, my friend.
My last memory.
Recall how you came to be here and lost your memory. So let's roll a memory trigger. The sound of water boiling.
Sound of water boiling.
So Jordan,
I'm glad there's going to be some. I'm glad there's going to be some leading questions.
Okay.
Remember how you've gotten to be here.
Remember how he got to be here?
As
Yeah,
in,
I was looking at his memory so far.
Yeah, so basically it's like what caused you to lose your memory? Like what traumatic event caused you to lose your memory and made you have to be in this institute?
Water.
Dang it, Jordan.
Is this one yours?
Yeah, this one's mine.
So
You've got 2 questions too, Jordan.
I know.
I think
Shot myself in the foot.
so. Even though it says like the last night I saw my family or whatever, I think it's not definite. So I think
Probably wife, not family. That probably would have been a better thing to say anyway. Because you would have seen kids afterwards at like visitation stuff like that.
did your ex-wife leave her next husband too?
Yeah, it was at that point I realized that she probably was just chasing dreams. It was never really my older brother she was in love with. It was the excitement of it. And because of that, she was never able to really catch that excitement because it was just a fleeting dream. Go with it, Jordan.
Hold on. Is that why she ended up being a groupie for the band Metal and Sulfur?
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, it wasn't something I would have expected, but
Or the other patients in this facility.
when someone's looking for excitement, they go with where the excitement is, and the old adage goes, no drugs, sex, and rock and roll. And she went after all of them. You brought it
I
there.
know.
Let's see.
I actually had the thought way earlier, and I'm like, what if? I actually thought, what if I was the guy? What if I was her second husband?
Nah, I don't know if you've been married.
Huh?
Oh no, you were married.
Yeah.
He's probably a little too stable. Come on, I got 2 leading questions to get to boiling water.
I know.
I mean, I have an idea in my head, but if
Have you always hated drinking tea?
yeah, I was making hot chocolate that night. It wasn't. It's just never been that appealing to me. So I've just always gone for the sweeter things, especially when she left me. She was the one who was the tea drinker. So after that, I couldn't even stand the sight of it.
So we've established that the last night you ever saw your wife?
I thought so, but I'm not so sure anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
Right,
I'm
that's
not
the thing.
sure that works with where we're going.
Exactly
His
right.
memory's a little hazy.
I mean, understandable. Yeah.
Jordan, do you have to ask the second question?
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's got one more until I can go with where I'm thinking.
Okay, so we're hazy on whether or not he sees his wife again.
I'm pretty sure I'm seeing her at this point.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, otherwise, like that's been what his story is like
Yeah,
really about.
yeah.
So.
Yeah. Okay. So that's what I was just making sure. I didn't want to do what I was about to do without.
Yeah.
Like, okay. So the tea was really for your wife who surprised you when she knocked at the door.
Yeah, even though I didn't drink it myself and I didn't like the looks of it, I still had a packet of the first, when we had first met, I had given her a box of tea, and when she left me, she didn't want it anymore, so she gave it to me, and I kept it as a memento of sorts, but I honestly had forgotten that I had it.
She was either a very infrequent tea drinker.
Right, that's what I was thinking.
Well, that's a big box of tea. No, it works. It works.
It was like a box, like one that you would put
like
tea.
a legit. Okay, yeah. Like a carved box or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I remember the time when I was just. This is gonna get interesting because I know exactly where this is going and why it says sound. I was just sitting there, in my 1-bedroom apartment, life had been going on pretty much how it had been going on for the last 5 years, and all of a sudden, I heard a knock at my door, and I was like, okay, whatever. I was making myself hot chocolate. Wasn't expecting anyone. I don't really have anyone to hang out with, so
I don't have any friends.
Can I just say I answer the door because it's not really that big of a. Would I answer the door? Okay, so I go and answer the door, and lo and behold, is my ex-wife, and looking as well, not how I last remembered her, to say the least. When I last saw her, she was the lady I had known and fallen in love with, and now, as I had heard from some of her family and friends, she looked like the typical, groupie, drugged up. Didn't look like she was very together in a sense. And she came in and she started yelling to me about her alimony checks, which was weird because I had paid those off a long time ago, and I don't remember what exactly I did. Do you remember, Jordan?
As she starts going off and kind of inviting herself in, you just kind of let her walk in and say, "Who are you?"
Or is that how you remember, Caleb?
I think you shut the door in her face.
I'm not sure where to go with either of those.
Mm-hmm. And like, shut the door in her face isn't necessarily like, all right, go away, right? But like, you start off this entire thing very angry.
Yeah, so, that's a good.
Yeah, I think I'll go with that, Caleb. I go to, and I try to shut the door in her face, but she doesn't. She's not up for that. She puts her end in, and barges herself into my apartment, and goes on asking me if there's any, like, going through the cabinets, like saying why I don't have anything to drink, and I had been sober for 3 years at this point, so I wasn't going to give her anything to that. But I remembered I had some tea, which I tell her I have tea, and she just gives me this weird look on her face, and I don't remember. I don't think I can say I grabbed it. I think that's a little too leading. Is it? I'll let you guys
tea.
To go grab the tea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's probably a decision point.
And I'm not sure if I grabbed the tea. Do you know, Emily?
Before you do anything, you just kind of take a long, hard look at what your ex-wife has become and see that seems like something's a little off. So instead of going to the tea, you try and get her to sit down on the couch and just ask her, like, are you okay? Are you on something?
Jordan, is that is that how you remember it happening?
So you invited her. You decided to invite her back in.
Yeah, and I told her that she's asking me for something to drink. I know she means alcohol, but I tell her I have some tea.
Okay.
And I don't remember what I did with that.
So, so you mentioned the tea, and so you don't remember. So you did tell her that you had the tea.
Yeah.
And Emily's suggestion was.
I try and sit her down and see if she's okay, if she's on something.
Okay. You decide to just go and you decide to pull out. You walk over to the cabinets and you pull out the box of tea and you kind of show it to her, and you begin making her a cup of tea. And when you show her the box, you kind of say, "Remember this?"
Dang it! I have.
Decisions.
I like yours, Emily, but I think I might have to go with Jordan's because it works better for what I'm thinking. So I go and I grab the box of tea. I tell her, "Do you remember this?" And she just gives me this look. She grabs the box of tea. A look of clarity just slowly comes over her face. But the chat. What the heck? Oh, sorry, there's something in the chat. She gives this look at his face. A look of clarity slowly goes over her face, but then she just gets angry and just chucks it at me and just yells, "What is your problem?" And she's yelling at me. She keeps yelling at me, saying the alimony, saying she wants the money. And I past that, it's getting a little hazy. Caleb, do you remember what happened next?
That was when the pot of boiling water began. The one that you put on for your hot chocolate started. You heard the sound, and in your anger, you grabbed the pot, and you may have done something that you very much regret.
Jordan?
Oh.
Actually,
go ahead.
I just realized. Wait, I should have picked Emily again because I picked yours last time, but I've already said.
You can pick Emily.
Emily, what do you?
Oh gosh! Oh no! Okay. Oh, okay.
I forgot my usual route of who I picked. Just remember the boiling water.
I know. I'm well aware of the boiling water.
Is he aware of the boiling water?
It's a good question.
I mean, I think he is.
Well, I don't know. I think that he kind of forgot about it, and he started moving towards the kitchen since he'd gotten the tea box, and the water has started boiling over, and it starts touching your feet a little bit, and you start getting realizing that it's boiling over. So you tell her, she's screaming about the money, so you say, as you're like walking into the kitchen away from her, you say, I don't have any money for you. All I can offer is I can give you some tea, or you need to leave. As you like walking into the kitchen to turn the boiling water off.
Wow, those are drastic differences there.
Yeah, maim your ex-wife or not. To maim or not to maim, that is the question.
I think I'm actually gonna go with Emily's. Wow. Because there was one way really to get me in here that I knew of. So I tell her, I'm like, you know what? I don't have any money. You've taken my money. I've paid your alimony. It's done with. I can offer you some tea, but that's it. And she just is just enraged by this. And she starts coming at me, hitting me. I'm trying to get to the as I'm going that direction, she sees the boiling water and throws it in my face.
Yeah, there we go.
It was the only way it could end.
Yeah, that's how I was like, you can't hit her with it because you have to have amnesia somehow.
Which is why it's the sound of boiling water and not the sight, because I can't see.
So how many decisions has there been so far?
That was the third one.
That was the third one.
Is there supposed to be 4?
Yeah, there's 4.
Oh, there's supposed to be 4.
Oh,
yeah.
No.
Oh, I missed one. Ow, I forgot. Oh.
Well, that's right. You're now reeling on the ground.
I'm reeling on the ground. My eyes are burning. She's dang it! I too quickly.
Penny, for your thoughts?
Yeah, Caleb, Jordan, what do I do next? I'm just really going around on the ground.
Uh-huh.
I walked myself into conclusion too quickly.
Uh-huh.
I don't remember what happened next to them.
I think as you're screaming in pain, you cry out to your wife to forgive you for everything you've done.
Ouch. Do you remember it that way, Jordan?
I think. Did you establish you were in a house or an apartment?
Apartment, single bedroom apartment.
Okay. You didn't establish what floor, did you?
Oh, no.
Where are you? Oh my gosh. Keep going.
Is he also going to throw her off a roof?
No. So it's at this point, you just get up in a raging fury and you just scream at your ex-wife's face, I can't stand the thought of you anymore. And you run to the nearest window, you open the door, and you jump out your 2-story apartment. Or you jump out the second story.
Whoa! Goodness gracious!
Whoa!
What's this?
The only problem is I've already established I can't see.
As you run to the wall.
You try and run out the window, whatever of your 2nd-story building. You really just run into the wall and knock yourself out.
That's actually not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Silly. I have to pick one. I can't mix the two.
No.
Could you imagine just the scene of this whole thing? It's a little comedic. Like, I can't stand you. No.
I'm going to go with Caleb's just because I had an idea with that. I'm going to say that I ask her, I say, please forgive me. I don't know what to do. And all of a sudden, I hear a sound, and I just feel the wet slap against my face as she spits on me, and then feel more searing pain as she pours the last of the boiling water on my face, and I pass out in pain.
Oh.
Ow.
I thought she was going to end it by throwing the pot down at your head.
Oh, that works too. Yeah.
So, when I think of the sound of boiling water, I remember that one time my wife threw boiling water at my
Ex-wife.
face. Yeah. Threw boiling water at my face.
This goes from like happy to sad to traumatic.
Uh-huh. How did you lose your memory?
Probably from the blunt force trauma.
The blunt force trauma. All right, well, I'm the only one who has 4.
Yep, sir.
So I guess it's me.
Were we supposed to get an extra penny after each time we win?
Yep, I've been giving you guys one every time.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
Yep. So memory trigger. The feeling of being absolutely alone in a dark place. Well, Seth, you get 2 questions. Everybody else?
Okay, wait. Where did
So
we
last
leave
thing,
you
yeah,
last?
last thing that happened with me is I took some pills
Oh, yeah.
after like publicly announcing basically that like I framed my daughter.
Do you remember what happened after you woke up at the hospital?
Yes. And it was a very special kind of hospital. It was an insane asylum.
That's where I was going.
Well, yeah.
Were you surprised that they wouldn't allow visitors?
Yes. At least until I found out what kind of hospital it was. It seemed so nice at first. So clean
Padded.
and padded.
Was it easy to convince the others to give you their meds?
Oh, it was entirely too easy. I've learned from all of my years the art of persuasion, and it wasn't long before I was kind of in control of the other inmates at the asylum.
Did you start having hallucinations about your daughter pretty soon after?
Oh, of course. Basically, the moment I woke up, she talked to me constantly. She was always in the room beside me, and I guess I didn't really realize they were hallucinations until now. So there I was. I remember a time when I was in a padded room, and I had... Actually, no. I remember a time when I was in the lounge at the asylum. As I said before, it was a rather nice place, clean. And I wasn't always in a padded room, just when I had fits. And so sometimes they would let me be in it was like a living room, I guess. It kind of reminded me of the living room back when I lived with my family. And I was surrounded by bottles of medicine. They left me alone for a couple hours, and so I grabbed all the medicine out from the different parts of the room where I had stashed them. And then I'm not sure what I did. Emily, what did I do?
You...
can see that Seth has an idea.
Oh, I have an amazing idea.
You decided that that you wanted to just go ahead and have this craziness in this insane asylum come to an end. So you just need to figure out a way to take all these pills as soon as possible. But you're trying to look for any sort of water, anything to take these pills with when you're stopped by like an aide in the lounge.
Seth, what do you think happened?
Mine is exactly the same, but worded differently. You decide to make some lemonade.
That's so good.
With the pills.
Well, obviously I have to choose that one. So there was a kitchen nearby, small little kitchen. Again, it reminded me of my home back when. And I mean, they had some old, old time lemonade in there. They had a little powdered box.
Good old country time.
Yeah, there you go. That was it. That's what I was thinking. And so I poured it in the pitcher, poured in some water, stirred it up, poured myself a nice, well, I would say cold, but it was more like room temperature glass of lemonade.
Throwback.
And I put a very odd assortment of pills in the glass, just one at a time. Plop, 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 plop. A lot of different kinds. I'm not entirely sure what it's going to do to me. But I take a big drink. And then another big drink. And then one last big drink. And the pills are down. And I start to feel strange. I start seeing hallucinations, but I've already been seeing them for a while now. My daughter starts screaming at me. I'm not sure why. No, of course, I know why. Because I betrayed her, because I ruined her life, because I did all those horrible things to her. I fall to the floor. I start spasming. An aide walks in, and they're saying something to me. They're waving their hands in front of my face. I can't understand what they're saying. What do I do, Jordan?
As the attendants have seen you. Oh man, what do you do? You look up to them and you say, I thought we weren't allowed to have visitors here.
Emily, what do you think I did?
It's a hard one to work with.
Yeah.
Such a good scene already set up. I almost. But
I have like two more decision points.
Yeah,
this, so.
I know.
Right. That's why with my first one, I was like, you don't take the pills yet. Okay, let's see.
Well, I just said he made the lemonade.
Yeah.
I didn't say he drank it.
Yeah.
Right.
Let's see.
He makes the lemonade and he crushes up the pills and stares it in. And
Sorry, I guess. Yeah,
that
I
was
guess
the
I kind
idea.
of. For some reason, I thought that's what you were implying.
No. I meant like you crushed up the pills and you
yeah.
put it in the lemonade.
Yeah.
Or you.
See. You start yelling at your daughter saying, I'm sorry. I wanted to fix things. I'm sorry I was too late. And just like yelling your regrets at her as she's yelling at you.
Oh.
Like, I loved you. I shouldn't have said that. I've always loved you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think I'd choose that one. So I start yelling that, and the aide is calling someone on the phone. I think they pressed in 3 digits. 311? 711? No, 911. And, well, they were trying to hold me down, I think. I was yelling, and she was yelling back, not to aid my daughter. Of course, I know now it's not really her, it's just an illusion, hallucination. But it seemed really real to me at the time. She was saying, I forgive you. And now, I felt comfort then. But I'm not sure I feel comfort now, because it wasn't really her, was it? Well, anyway, I felt comfort in that moment. I started to relax. I started to just kind of let it all fade away. And when I woke up again, I didn't actually think I was awake at first. I opened my eyes, and there was just darkness. I was completely alone in a dark place. And I blinked a couple times, nothing changed. I was in complete darkness. What did I do, Emily?
You started trying to get up since you were laying down and realized you couldn't move your legs or your arms. And you actually started panicking a little because it was hard to breathe. You had something in your throat. You couldn't move your mouth very well, and you just started to panic, and you start hearing alarms going off in the room, and you finally see a light in the dark room as people start rushing into your side.
Emily getting all technical on us.
Okay. Caleb?
Mm-hmm. Jordan, what do you think happened?
I just wanted to point out that everything she just described is basically the song "One" by Metallica. Like the opening lyrics are, "I can't remember anything. Can't tell if this is true or a dream. Deep down inside, I feel the scream. Nothing is real but pain now." No, something like that. Something like that. But it's very like that exact scene. Why do I have to make something else up? Can't we just go with that? Okay.
Just think of something horrible, so he has to pick Emily's.
I can't remember anything. Can't tell if this is true or a dream. Deep down inside, I feel to scream. This terrible silence stops me. Now that the war is through with me, I'm waking up. I cannot see that there's not much left of me. Nothing is real but pain now.
That is oddly fitting.
Fitting, yeah.
Hold my breath as I wish for death. Oh, please, God, wake me. That's the chorus.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's a nice, warm, fuzzy song.
Right, yeah, one of those warm fuzzies that you play for your, like, it's like a lullaby, really.
Yeah. I mean, there's lullaby versions that exist, believe it or not.
Of course there are.
That's messed up.
There's lullaby versions for, like, everything.
That's true. I know a metal version. I heard a metal version of the Three Little Pigs today.
Nice. So yeah, Jordan.
Is it by Green Jello Sucks? Seth? Is it by Green Jello Sucks?
Maybe. I don't know what their name was. My coworker's just playing it in the car today.
I think I know the song you're talking about. Little pigs.
Anyway.
Yeah, sorry. Digressing. So you realize immediately that you actually can move. You get up, and you realize that you're laying in a bed. But there's no one around, and you get up and you try to walk around, and you can feel the walls in the room. But something's odd. The odd thing is that you don't see the hallucinations of your daughter. You don't hear the hallucinatory sounds of your daughter. You don't hear anyone. You don't see anyone. It's all completely empty.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with that one, Jordan.
Okay. It's
Oh.
not too far a departure from what Emily was, but
Yeah, but I feel like that's like me actually like waking up at the institute, right? That we're in right now, like doing the therapy session. So yeah.
Ooh, I like that.
Right. Yeah. So when I think of the feeling of being absolutely alone in a dark place, I remember.
Was that the last one?
That's the last one for me.
That was 4?
I thought that was 3.
I thought that was 3.
No, that was 4. I had 5, I think. Wait, did I? Did I have?
No, because you did the lemonade, the screaming at your daughter, and then the waking up.
Oh, you're right. Man, why did I think that? Okay, I think. Oh, it was last time because someone else had 5. Okay, so I guess yeah. So I'm there alone. I'm feeling the walls, and right now I can still remember, but I really don't want to. It's gotten to the point now where even though I can't see my daughter or hear my daughter, the memories are still clawing at my brain like a rabid animal trying to escape. And so I have to do something to make it all go away. I feel around for something. Or maybe I don't. Seth, what do I do?
I'm gonna say you go back to the bed and find your bedding and start to tie it around your neck.
Emily, what do you think I do?
You don't feel around for anything because you think you've figured out where you are. You're dead at this point. This is your personal hell, alone, silent, dark. You don't remember anything. It's just you in this room for eternity. And so you just kind of sit on the floor, kind of like rocking back and forth, realizing like this is what the rest of your life is gonna be.
Definitely choosing that one.
I thought mine was dark.
Oh yeah, oh definitely. Yeah. So, when I think of the feeling of being absolutely alone in a dark place, I remember, yeah, I remember
You tried to kill yourself.
my daughter's hallucinatory image screaming at me as I try to.
I would point out this is like also part of that song.
Oh, what? Really?
Like the whole song is like around what you've been saying, Emily.
I've never heard of this song before.
Oh, thanks, dude.
One by Metallica.
Yeah.
It's like it's the story of a soldier.
Girl who cried a river and drowned the whole world.
Yes.
So she looks so sad in photographs. I absolutely love her. When she smiles.
Thank you. We all leave it at that.
So who's next?
So how did I lose my memory? Sensory deprivation over a long period of time as a treatment. The insane asylum that I was at tried to use that to get me under control. This like sensory deprivation room, and I went insane and just became an idiot.
And it worked.
Yeah, well, it kind of worked. Yeah.
It's a different kind of insane.
So everybody has 4, so it's either Emma or Jordan. So
I'll go first because since my story is weird and we started with my bad memory, and let's end on a complete story with Jordan.
Yeah.
All right. So memory triggers.
Memory or memory?
The memory.
What's the difference?
Oh, both.
Memory triggers. That one cat gif. That should be one of the memory triggers.
Smell of fresh
laundry?
Interesting.
So weird.
Tide Pods. So have you guys taken the Tide Pod challenge yet? Look of shame.
I did, and then I woke up and I was in this asylum.
That's kind of what I was thinking with that. Huh.
How does the smell of fresh laundry make you forget who you were?
I mean, I don't know, but at this point in my story, I've been questioned by the cops about the death of my brother, and there was kind of no conclusion to that at all. So,
Oh, that's true.
Did you visit your brother's grave every week?
yes, and every time I went, it was strange because there were flowers there that I hadn't put there, but they were always different every time I went.
Did you hear your window break when you were doing laundry?
Yes, but it was strange since it was on the other side of the house. By the time I got there, on the window was broken in, and just on the floor it said there was a rock with like a piece of cloth tied around it holding a note, and when I looked at the note, it just said, "We know you know, you're next."
I want to point out that both the beginning and the end of her stories started with the smell of gasoline in a place that it shouldn't be, and now it's the smell of fresh laundry.
Smell is the best trigger for memory.
If it's a trigger for memory, is it a chrono trigger?
Please tell me you've played Chrono Trigger, Jordan.
Oh yeah, dude. Okay. In order, my top 3 video game franchises of all time
Here we go.
Number 1 is Zelda. Number 2 is Halo.
You guys are gonna talk about this. I'm gonna pee real quick. I'll be right back.
Sorry, what was number 3?
And number 3 is Chrono Cross and Chrono Trigger.
Chrono Cross is weird.
It's weird if you don't understand what's going on.
I understand what's going on after looking
Yeah.
listening to a lore thing that was like 20 minutes long to explain it because it's so confusing. I just need the battle system. I didn't like as much.
I thought the battle system, but I mean, I was really young, and I actually played Chrono Cross before I played Chrono Trigger.
Really?
Yeah, because I mean, just of how my age was at that time, I was
a short interlude where Seth and Jordan talk about video games.
Okay, I gotta say something, Jordan.
Okay.
You might hear some people talk about a little game for the Switch called I Am Setsuna. And they will say, oh, it's like Chrono Trigger. No, it's not, because Chrono Trigger is a good game. And this game sucks. It's bad. I'm honestly, Saturday, I'm going to try to finish this game so I can be done with it and say I finished it and I didn't waste $40 on it. Because right now I feel like this is a waste. It's bad.
What about it made people think?
Huh?
This is like Chrono Trigger. What about it?
ATB battle system, ATB positional battle system, and everything. But it's just people just try to take all these different RPG elements and just shove them into one game. It's bad. We can talk more about it later now that Emily's back, but it's bad. So don't buy it because it's not worth it.
I will not. I don't trust newer games like that.
Chrono Trigger is just infinitely better.
Our brief interlude is now over.
Okay, Emily. We haven't even asked you all your questions yet, have we?
No.
Negatory.
I still have one more.
And Jordan has one.
I haven't asked either. So wait, what did the note say? Oh yeah, we know you know.
You're next.
You're next.
When you were doing laundry, did you find an old pair of pants that your brother used to wear, and something strange in the pocket?
Crazy you mentioned that, because yes, I did find
That oddly specific thing is true.
I did find a pair of my brother's old pants and found something strange in the pocket. And seeing as none of us who do laundry check pockets beforehand, I
Nope.
found it taking out of the dryer, and I was like, well, it's definitely not a pen. So I reached in the pocket and I took it out, and it was it was a
Are you Googling drug paraphernalia?
no, I'm actually Googling the opposite. He had, it was like a chip that I was looking at, and it looked like a poker chip, but it really was a chip from Alcoholics Anonymous that he had gotten his 24 hours of sobriety.
A whole 24 hours. Well, Jordan?
Bring it home.
Did the police warn you of your brother's gang activity?
Yes. But it was just a kind of strange warning that they reached out to me, since I didn't live as close to him as the rest of my family when I was at school. But they did reach out to my family, letting us know that we had known that he'd been arrested multiple times recently with the gang. And he always told us, like, no, he's trying to stop. That's not really him. But
This ain't you. This ain't you.
And we wanted to believe him, but with his record and his actions, we didn't really believe that he was trying to change.
Wait, is this not a yes or no question. Is this a different brother? Because the other brother in the other story had gotten shot to death.
Yeah, and this is all about like past things that happened with him, I'm thinking, right?
I thought I thought this was after, because this is how you got into the asylum.
It is.
Yeah, but that's like I washed the pants that my brother's old pants. So like after he died, I was washing.
Oh,
I was doing laundry, and his pants were there. Right,
I guess
that's what everybody meant to.
I was thinking like it was like he said every week, so I was thinking like a few years later, but it could have been shorter time.
Yeah, I was thinking years too.
But Jordan, you were referencing like the same brother with like the police talking about it, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, because I thought you'd mentioned in that story, that you knew he was hanging out with bad people.
Yeah, because the police warned me. Mm-hmm. Now we know the police warned me that he had gang activity.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is happening.
We're trying to tie in the smell of fresh laundry with losing your memory and the mafia.
Yeah.
That's why I tried to make it gang related.
Well, that's the. So this is all happening. This memory is coming after, right after the rock got thrown through my window, and I found the pants, which that all happened after I got home for the summer. my brother got shot, it was in the winter, and I was coming home for the summer, coming home for summer break from school and doing laundry when the rock came in, and the memory
what the rock is. I'm sorry, you said the rock in the first thing. You said the rock came in and my mind went to the
Not
rock.
Dwayne the Rock Johnson.
I mean, it'd be much better if it was Dwayne the Rock Johnson.
Feel very ashamed.
Whoa, was that God talking to you, telling you?
You are guilty, Jordan.
I mean, I already know that.
Okay, so.
All right, I'm done.
All hail the Wizard of Oz.
I guess this memory is starting right after the rock is thrown through my window, and I look at it and see that it says, "We know, you know, you're next." And I get really panicked after seeing that, and I'm not really sure what I'm supposed to do. If they know, I know. I don't know. Am I supposed to like stay quiet or get the police? And I can't remember what I did after I saw that. Jordan, do you know what I did?
I think that's when you did decide to call the police and let them know, but you realized that your home phone line had been disconnected and your cell phone was out of data. Well, I guess that wouldn't matter if you had a cell phone, because they can call police anyway.
My cell phone wasn't in my pocket. I don't know.
You put your cell phone through the wash.
I found in my brother's old pants my current cell phone? What? Why did I wash that?
You realize you had been wearing your brother's pants for 3 months now.
You realize you are your brother. What?
What a twist!
You got what a twist!
What a twist!
May I return you to the facts and reassurances document?
Okay, so you find out that your phone line has been cut, but you can't seem to find your cell phone anywhere. I guess, and not but, wrong conjunction.
Okay. Seth doesn't have a smile on his face, so I'm gonna go to Caleb.
You guys I have a tell of when I have
You really do.
Yeah, so it's like, Seth would just have to like make something up real quick. He doesn't have anything good in mind, so let's go to somebody else.
I think that a spike of fear shoots through your chest, and
it's a bullet.
No, you get sniped. No, spike of fear shoots through your chest, and you realize you have to run now, and so you literally just grab your wallet and you just jump out the window.
Through the window.
I'm gonna jump out the window, I think, since that's pretty exciting.
Until you hit the floor, but yeah.
Well, it's on the first floor.
Right.
So, you know.
Exactly. It's not very exciting.
Yeah.
You're just like, oh, well, yeah. Come on.
Yeah, so I abandoned the rest of the laundry that's sitting in the dryer that will now wrinkle, and I may come to regret later, because then it ends up just being
I feel angst
for me.
Just hearing that.
Because then I didn't choose to do work now. I'm gonna have to re-dry it later, and it's a waste of energy.
And that's if you survive being being attacked by gang members, like.
Right, but so yeah, it's just overall like not having the best decision making skills, because I'm just, once I see the rock and I read the note, like obviously know that people are coming for me, even though I don't totally know who they are. I just have an idea in general that it's whatever gang my brother was at one time running with. So I see the window and I just decide I have to go. I'm not safe here. They know where I live, obviously. So I open the window and jump through the window, even though there's, like a screen to keep the mosquitoes out. I jump through that too and kind of tumble onto the ground and just start running. And one of my neighbors was like out mowing the lawn at that point and gave me a really, really funny look as I kept on running and kind of yelled after me, "Is everything okay?" As I was just like kind of running away until a car pulled up in front of me when I got to an intersection of a street. And a car pulled up and the window rolled down. And I just see a gun pointed at me and they say, "Get in the car." And Seth, what do I do?
I'm torn between two different things.
I saw a semblance of an expression on it. So
yeah, I got a little smirk.
The Sith smirk.
We should play poker against Seth.
Oh, I'm horrible.
Oh, I want to do that now.
We could do spades. You don't have to have a good poker face for spades.
Oh, which one do I want to do? I can't decide. Wait. I don't have to decide. The dice will decide for me. Okay. Odd, you'll go in the car. Even, you'll do something else.
Oh, I know it's even. I want to know what something else is.
They're both related. I just need to know how you do the exact thing.
Oh.
11. So. No. It's still the same thing. It's just you do it inside the car instead of you do it in the car instead of out of the car. So isn't
everything more exciting when you're in a car though?
Kind of. So you slowly get in the car. You slowly comply. You get in the car, but you slowly reach your hand in your purse where your gun is. The same one you'd lied about to the cops.
Oh. Okay.
The other way you were. The other way you literally were just gonna pull your gun out right there and there, then and there.
Jordan, what do I do?
You immediately run into the nearest store that looks the most populated and scream, "Help! There's a guy out there with a gun and he's trying to kill me." Just go with Seth.
Yeah, I like that it's incorporating my weapon that I lied about to the cops.
Yeah, I like that.
Seth is getting so many pennies.
I know. Okay, so
I like improv. It's fun.
I immediately just am shocked and kind of pale, and I get a little shaky, and I go to the back of the car and open the door and get in, and I see that it's just the driver and me, and I have my purse, and I kind of reach and feel in it and feel that I have my gun, and I slowly start to get it out.
Do you though?
No, that's what I said.
That's what he said.
Right.
She goes in the car and pulls her gun.
Sorry. Okay. I thought this was a different situation.
Yeah.
You're good.
I was like, I mean, that's what Seth said, right?
I left it at she goes.
Yeah.
She goes to the. She goes in the car and gets her gun.
My instincts were triggering.
Triggered.
Yeah.
Okay. So I start to get my gun out of my purse, but I don't want the driver to be able to see it. So I don't like just get it out and wave it. I kind of just like have my hand on it. And, hey, look at my gun.
Isn't it nice?
Mm-hmm.
Check out these guns. Boom, boom.
So okay, so I'm in the car.
All right, Jordan.
And the driver just goes just speeds off from where we were and pulls off down the street later and turns around to me and says, "No funny business. I'm taking you to the boss." And so
Taking you to the boss.
to the boss. I figured if we're going mafia, we gotta go full mafia. So I don't remember what happened because it was kind of like, am I gonna pull my gun out or not at this point when he stopped? So I can't remember what I decided to do. Jordan, do you know what I did?
I think as he's okay, so have we established, is he the only one in the vehicle?
Yeah, he was the only one in the car.
So you turn to him and say, well, what about him? And you point outside the front of the window, and he turns around to look, and that's when you pull out your gun and shoot him and run away.
Pop a cap.
Okay. Caleb, we can't give Seth any more pennies, so.
I think.
And then it turned out Caleb and Emily were the only ones who I was able to pick.
I think that so even though you have a gun and you know your brother was apparently a dangerous individual, I don't think you are. I think even though you have this gun, like you don't really use it, and I think you go to take it out and like point it at the back of his head, and you just freeze. You freeze mid-motion, holding the gun like out of the purse, but just freezing, like trembling. You can't do it, and then he turns back and sees you.
Ooh, sorry, I just flat that. Well, I'm not gonna
Ooh, okay, so that would be this is decision point number 3, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I think I go with Caleb that he sees me starting to get the gun out. And
well, you have the bullets in the back of his head, and he turns around and sees you, right?
No, so she has the gun like halfway out of her
I like
purse.
start
basically.
getting the gun out, and he turns around.
And she's like trembling because she can't like.
Yeah, and I'm trembling. Yeah. And he sees the gun, and he has been well trained by the mafia. So as soon as he sees the gun coming out, he shoots. Mm-hmm. He shoots at me, and all I remember is feeling searing pain in my head, and then just like feeling a dropping sensation, and then pain all over my body, hearing sirens coming towards me, and I wake up in a well-lit place, and it smells nice and sterile.
Is this a place that Emily would maybe be familiar with?
I mean, I don't know. I don't really remember anything, and I don't know what I did. Seth, do you know what I did?
You look up, kind of confused and dizzy. And as you look up, you see the janitor walking out of the... Where are you exactly? Are you in like a...
I'm in a well-lit room that smells sterile. That's just like, looks like just kind of like a room. I'm in a bed and
Okay. Yes.
just kind of a generic room with a bed in it.
Bring this full circle. You walk in. You walk in. You look around. You don't see anyone, but you see the janitor leaving the bathroom, and and on the side of his cart, you see a plunger, and at the side of it, you get dizzy and throw up.
Okay, Jordan.
So you just woken up in this place. Okay. Dang, it feels like you're already there. Like it feels like you've already skipped over the fourth one almost. Oh, it's so hard.
That's why I try to just tie it together with the plunger.
Yeah. Which is weird because a plunger is a weird thing to try to tie something with, considering it's a stiff object and it has no bending functions. You wake up to the you see that this place is fairly pristine and fairly clean, and it feels familiar, but it feels upside down for some reason. You decide to walk into the bathroom where you catch a whiff of gasoline and you open up the toilet and there's a flash. That's all you remember.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I'm going with that one. I'm going with Jordan. So I
stole a penny from Seth.
So I wake up, I'm in a nice clean room and go to the bathroom and I start smelling gasoline, and all of a sudden my head starts hurting, and I don't know what this feeling is, but I just start screaming and people start rushing in trying to calm me down, and I just feel a poke in my leg, and then everything fades to black again.
When I think of the smell of fresh laundry, I remember
That time I got shot.
that one
yeah,
time I got shot
I remember yeah, I remember my brother and that he was involved with something but trying to change himself, because I figured that out right when I was doing laundry. but it was too late.
Mm-hmm. How did you lose your memory?
From the gunshot.
All right. It's Jordan. Let's see what our last memory trigger is. Throwing your phone across the room.
Throwing my phone across the room. I'm arrested at this point. Oh! It could be like, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I'll see what picture you guys paint. What you guys paint up for me.
Shoot, I have to ask 2 questions.
Yeah.
Emily, whenever you said the words, you hear someone screaming, like as soon as you said that, it was so weird because I had a ringing in my ear. I was like, what?
Okay, so you're arrested.
I was arrested.
You were arrested.
And probably on charges of cocaine and killing the kid and pushing my wife off of a roof and cocaine and...
Was that your one phone call?
It's his phone, though.
I had a similar thought.
Yeah.
Well, do you have something, Caleb?
No, I'll take it back and I'll think again.
Okay. Did you really think you could peg that police officer from across the room?
I did. I mean, I had a pretty good arm. I mean, why not? I just didn't realize that the police officer was looking at me at the time and happens to be a good catch. He did not like that. He didn't think it was very funny. That's when I turned to him and I said, "Oh, hey, you're really here. You're not just playing tricks on me like Loki. Ha 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 ha." Seth, you got my joke?
I think so. I don't remember exactly.
I think so.
So in Avengers, or not Avengers, in Thor movies, it's a recurring joke that Loki plays a trick and he's not actually there, and Thor picks something up and throws it at the hologram.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't remember that part as much.
Okay.
I recently saw Thor Ragnarok, so that's what I've been.
Wait, actually, I don't think it might even work. Oh, no, across the room, not against the wall. I was thinking of the thing that inspired me to put that in there.
I think
Do it on the ground!
It's just late and we're all tired and don't have any creative energy left.
Yeah.
I still got some.
I'm finally kind of awake.
I'm going to get coffee as soon as we're done. Or as soon as we have a break or something.
Throwing your phone.
I mean, this is the last thing, so.
Yeah.
Police officer.
I mean, things would happen if you threw a phone at a police officer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Did you think solitary confinement would be as bad as it really is?
Yeah, I had pretty low expectations as far as comfort goes. But you know, all things considered, it's not the worst thing I've been through. I mean, have you ever lived on a tour bus?
Fair. Did you think that you would be charged with as much as you did? Which is with as much as you were charged with, rather? Yeah. I'm actually I expected that. I'm actually a little bit surprised that I didn't get charged with more.
they don't know half the stuff I've done. But then again, if they did, the statute of limitation would probably cover me at least a little bit, maybe. Man, this is gonna end with me like getting in a fight with some guy named Rodney, and then Rodney's gonna like kick my butt and knock me out. He's gonna have a big heart tattoo that says "Moms."
Are you surprised how well your business did with your associates in the jail?
I was surprised. It turns out people in jail are kind of suckers. But I mean, I've heard stories passed around about this one guy with lemonade, and I mean, it was.
He was in an asylum, not the prison.
I mean, it gets passed around eventually, right? I heard these stories about this guy in an asylum. No, that doesn't happen. But I mean, it turns out people in prisons are desperate and stupid. So I took advantage of that, knowing how to weasel around contracts with greasy music producers and evil record labels. I know how to dance around my words and other people's. There's a lot of deception in the music business. You just gotta know how to work things.
Okay. I think that's all the questions, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now we're gonna figure out what my little side business was.
Well, it's prison.
Yeah.
Have you seen Shawshank Redemption?
I have not.
I still
What?
need to see that movie.
You haven't seen it either, Caleb?
Mm-hmm.
So we really need to have we need to have a movie night thing. Or we need to have a watch night. Like, we're going to watch these things. Or we watch an episode and a movie.
Shawshank Redemption is great.
That's one thing I thought is I could be selling prison shanks for food rations.
I think
you could be.
I think maybe you are an entertainer. Like you actually
Oh, yeah.
with the our.
I left business very open. You can
Right,
be
exactly.
whatever you want it to
maybe,
be.
Maybe you're okay with the police officer or the guards, the prison guards, and they let you do a band thing.
I was thinking drugs.
Yeah, that
But
was
it's
my
always drugs.
Cause it's prison.
Okay, I got it. So I made it pretty tight with the guards, and that was very hard thing to do. But after a while, it got to a point where I actually had a little bit of freedom. It was more like a little bit more like house arrest. They how was it? No, it's not like house arrest. It was. I had my own private quarters, almost like house arrest, and they let me keep one rather less high quality guitar. They let me keep one guitar around, even though it's not quite my style or my favorite. So I got to at least play that, and they helped me through rehabilitation. But there was this one day when I had a phone that I was able to communicate with the with certain other cellmates, and on rare occasions with family members or friends. But I only got one of those calls about once a month. So there was one day I was holding a sort of little concert in my, not in my home, in the prison yard. And the other inmates started getting a little worked up because some of them had heard about my phone situation and they were upset about my special privileges between the phone and the car and such. So one of the guards started to yell at me and say that I had to give up my phone.
That's not very nice.
Yeah, and when he was yelling at me and telling me to give up my phone, I didn't quite like that. What was my? Oh no, okay, because I had to have thrown the phone at the guard. So that's when I threw the phone at the guard. Dang, this is hard. My creative juices are low.
So the phone thing already happened, remember, because it has to be after the fact.
So the memory trigger is the phone thing.
Maybe you just threw it again, I guess. But are you allowed to have a phone in prison? Is that a thing?
Yeah. See, that's one of the weird things.
Not so sure. That's why I was started with the leading question, acting like that was when you first got to the prison, you threw your phone at the guy.
Can you have a phone in prison?
I mean, I don't think so.
Probably not.
No, I don't think so either. Yeah.
I mean, you can. There's an email system thing that they have, but so Seth, you were saying that I got when I went back to prison, I had to throw my phone. I threw my phone at the guy.
My original leading question was when I said, "Did you think you could peg that officer?" That was with your phone.
Right.
I was saying when you first got to prison, when you have to give up all your stuff, you get to grab your phone.
Oh, okay. Let's retcon this a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we already had all the other leading questions though, so
yeah. So I have this side business. I'm just trying to figure out how to make. Because the memory trigger is throwing your phone. So the memory trigger would be throwing my phone at the cop.
That was the idea, but we can work around.
But again, that's just the memory trigger. That doesn't mean that you did it during the scene. I really think that just looking at the guard that you threw.
I was about to say, if there's a cop there, then you could think about when you
Right, it's just the same guard. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's the same guard.
Okay. Okay, so yeah.
It's the same guard, and he'd be salty.
So the same guard, he's yelling at me, and I'm going to retcon the whole idea of that I have a phone. He's yelling at me, and he's telling me that I have to stop my concert because it's been kind of getting the other inmates up in arms a little bit, up in kind of a rebellious sort of mood. And I wasn't too. What did I do? What did I do when the guard told me that I had to give up the guitar? Emily, what do you think I had to do? Well, I don't quite remember.
Okay, so the guard told you had to give up your guitar.
Mm-hmm.
The same guard that you threw the phone at.
Yes.
Okay. You you just, you just say, you know you shouldn't mess with me. Didn't you learn from what happened before? And you just throw the guitar at him too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Stop taking everything from me!
This is what happens when you want my stuff. I throw it at you.
All right. What do you think, Caleb? What could have maybe actually happened if that's not what happened?
So, I think that, you mean you're still angry at him, right? But I think you go as if you're going to give it to him, right? And once he's close enough, you just slam the guitar over his head.
Okay, yeah, I'm going with that. I was hoping.
Here we go.
Okay, so yeah, I've had about enough of this guy. So I take the guitar and I get close to him, and as he holds out, he like starts to extend his hand, and I pick it up, and in one swift motion, I simply bring it up over my head and bash it over his, and put the back straight through his head because it's actually a really cheap guitar and cheap wood. Not very solid.
I mean, what do you expect in prison?
Yeah, right. It was a guitar, but I mean, I wasn't getting to keep it anyway, so I needed to get use out of it. And
One last song.
This song's for you! And he actually passed out from that. Which, it wasn't a good thing because I distinctly remember after knocking the only guard out that was watching us and that was on duty at the time, we just knocked a guard out who was armed with an electric baton and a set of what was it? He was armed with a shock baton and mace and
Taser?
yes, thank you, and a taser, which the inmates happily confiscated. So they started to throw together a little riot, and
just a little riot, you know.
I mean,
A baby riot.
it was a pretty small riot.
Like,
I mean,
oh, see, okay. For a second there, I thought you said baby Raya, and now all I'm thinking is
With her mace.
like a baby Muppet version of Terranullius now.
Chibi Nullius.
Yeah, Chibi Nullius. Ah!
we need Chibi Nullius puppets.
Ugh. Okay, I need to find someone who does like chibi art and like have them make chibi versions of our characters. That would be amazing.
I actually might be able to put you in contact with someone.
Yes, do it. Anyway, continue.
They still do it.
Baby riot going on.
Alyssa agrees we need Chibi Nullius. She's in the chat.
Oh, hi. You should join us when you can. Okay.
We're
Yeah,
done.
she's ruined the overlays.
Not the overlays.
Oh,
My
yeah.
overlays.
I mean, ruffles are good too.
I did
Wow.
think about if I had
Get
lace
off.
chips
Get
that I would go. I
Get
would
out of the show
I
right now. You're
had
kicked
the
off. No,
lace under
I'm
me.
kidding. I'm
Jordan,
kidding.
come back!
Jordan,
Come
come
back!
You can blame
Jordan,
it
come
all on me.
You always go to that instead of the Baby Come Back by JoJo. It makes me sad.
I'm sorry. That's the one I'm familiar with.
Okay. So Baby
the-
Riot has started.
It was a small riot because, you know,
Oh, she actually talked that?
no, you've done it. You've ruined it.
Overlay!
You've ruined it. You've ruined it. Soiled it. Soiled it. Oh, goodness.
I had to. I just had to. I'm sorry. I saw the opportunity.
All
just
right.
to Caleb, and I had to. I'm sorry.
I mean, you got to take every opportunity to mess with Caleb that you can.
Yeah,
right?
it's not like
he
you guys.
messes up. He literally tries to kill us every single moment.
Hey,
he
you
can,
asked
so.
for it. You're like, hey, Caleb,
I don't
we want
try
to play a
and kill you.
game.
I just play the world as we decided it was gonna be.
We
The deadly
wanna-
Yeah,
Alpha
by the
wanted
way,
it to
I
be.
have decided that is a crappy argument because you
Whoa.
created the world. So you're like, I'm just playing the world. You mean the one that you created?
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
Whoa. Okay,
Let's-
let's finish the baby riot.
yes, we need to figure out how Jordan loses his memory.
I mean, probably within the riot.
By the
But, I
way,
mean,
Seth, you are now David. Emily, you're now Connor. Jordan, you're now Josh, and our Alyssa, you're now
Ari.
Trevor.
I'm not Trevor. Dang it.
You're Trevor. You are Trevor.
I like that you really just called her Ari.
I was
though.
about to call you Ari. Yeah,
I'm what? I'm who?
you're Josh. You're my friend Josh.
Josh. Cool. Is that a good thing?
Yeah, no, he's great.
The delay.
Upgrade!
He seems cool from what I've watched. He's made a reference to Terra Nullius and Elysian Road, so like obviously he's cool because he's watched Terra Nullius.
Mhm.
So
Okay, cool.
So yes, let's continue.
Yes. Okay. So, yeah,
baby riot.
Yes, it's a small riot because I mean I've started enough riots to know. I mean this is nothing. I should be able to contain this. I should be able to stop this. That's part of my job, to control the crowd. So as this started to pick up, I kind of started to try to calm everyone down and rally them and say, now come on.
Did you?
Or did I? So what was my reaction to the riot? That has now started.
Who are you
Small riot.
asking?
Your question. Alyssa, no, I'm kidding.
Yeah, something about a riot? I don't know.
Seth, what did I do at this riot?
I'm glad you asked.
Let's I did it.
We noticed that smirk.
I
The
have
Seth
such a tell.
smirk.
I have such a tell. I'm gonna say you saw the chaos, and you thought this might be a good chance to try and fly the coop and get out of here. Just like that. Just like that.
Just like that, you just escape, right? Like that's how it works, right?
Baby Bert Jordan is my favorite Jordan.
So since you're right by the guard, you even have some tools to assist your escape.
I like that thought. But was there maybe did I maybe have a different idea of what I might do in this riot, Caleb?
I think that.
Who's gonna do that on occasion now? It's just. I mean, I can practically fly as Darius now.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Still annoyed that those.
Yeah, you can
didn't
jump
fit
like
me.
9 feet in the air or something. Yeah. Man, I really don't know. Like I really like the idea of you trying to break out. I'm trying to think of like something else that's interesting.
Don't go better. Go lateral. Or not.
What?
Because it's kind of like the idea with the plungers earlier. I didn't try and top it. I just tried to do something completely different.
Yeah.
That's incomparable.
So I think what you do is you just get into the riot, right? Like you don't care about escaping. You just want to like punch people and stuff. Like you want to get all of your like anger out, right? You've been so frustrated. Yeah. Yeah, you're seeing it as just another party, right?
That works pretty well, not gonna lie.
Ooh. See, now it's really hard. Yeah. I'm gonna have to go with Caleb's on that one. That's close, Seth. But
Mm-hmm.
so I'm in party mode, and I just start to get into it, and I'm like I see guys just kind of bumping up against each other, and I'm like, and I like take a run, and I just throw myself into this crowd, and I run over and throw myself into another crowd. I'm just into it, and I turn around and see one of the guys I bumped into was I probably should have thought this through, but Big Tony. Big Tony.
Big Tony, right? Of course, you know every
Big
gangster
Tony,
that's
you
ever
know.
existed.
Yeah, that's like my go-to gangster name,
Yeah.
I guess. I bump into Big Tony, and you never bump into Big Tony.
No, of course not.
You never bump into Big Tony, and Tony knows it was Big Tony knows. Big Tony knows it was me that bumped into him.
Oh no.
Now, he starts to walk towards me, and he looks at me dead in the eye and just goes, and he just does one point. And he starts this sort of slow walk towards me, his walk of terror, as many have come to know it.
Right, the Tony Terror, right?
Yeah, the Tony
The
Terror.
walk of Tony Terror. Terror Tony, you know. That's what they call it.
What do I do?
Titanic Tony Terror. Anyway.
What is my plan here, Emily?
Well, as you see Terror Tony trotting towards you.
Oh, geez.
Yes.
I want to give it to you just for that.
Well, I don't know if you will after we hear what comes out of my mouth that I don't even know what it's going to be yet. So as he's trotting towards you, after you accidentally bumped into him.
Oh, it was on purpose. I just realized.
Oh, okay. After you purposely bumped into him, he's like coming towards you. He has that look on his face that you know, like, he's mad. He's about to do something. You're filled with the energy of the baby Riot, and you're ready for it to be a normal-sized riot.
A normal-sized riot.
Ooh.
So, because of that, you bumped him. He has a look on his face. You decide, you know what? I'm going to get the first swing in. So you just go for it and start swinging a punch towards him.
Seth, do you have another thought?
That was my thought.
Oh, Caleb, do you have another thought?
Said you have another thought. He's capable of 2 thoughts, maybe 3.
Wow.
2.
What about?
Wow.
Okay, I've got one. So you notice that the guard's down body still has the shock baton on it. So you decide this guy's going down, and you go and you grab that shock baton.
Oh.
Oh no.
Oh, I'm going with Seth's thought.
Give him all the pennies.
More pennies for me.
Penny,
All
pinch.
the pennies. Oh, so is there only one decision point left then?
After this, yep.
Okay.
All right, so I'm gonna run over and I'm gonna pick up that. I run over. I pick up that shock baton, and I am ready for Tony. Pick it up, turn it on, spin it around, look at him dead in the eye. And it doesn't seem so quick to run towards me anymore. But I think it is time to kick it up a notch. So we're gonna get this riot really going. And
Jordan started the riot.
It was always rioting, but then I put an attitude. Jordan
They were
started
always
the riot.
They were always fighting, but now they are dying. Okay, no.
There we go. Yeah. There we go. Okay.
I'm a songwriter, yay!
Oh.
Okay, so I start to work the crowd a little bit. I hit a guy here and there. I say, "Come on, who else is tired of these things, huh?" And I start smacking different, just whoever's in my range, I just try to knock them out with
indiscriminate smacking.
Indiscriminate attacking. Yes. In the
Jordan protect, Jordan attack. More importantly, he does crack.
Haiku.
That was incredible, but I cannot post that anywhere.
I saw it. I saw my one shiny moment of glory, and I am waiting for it.
I find it more funny that Emily's laughing this hard because I have no clue what's going on.
His character did crack before in the story.
I'm in jail partially because I was on drugs.
Ooh.
Ooh, that's a,
Oh man, that's good. That's good. That's good stuff. Just like the crack. Okay. We need to wrap this up quickly.
In a nice little bow. I notice. I actually don't notice. But the crowd starts to actually pick up, and the riot's starting to get more and more my speed, more my style, and in the adrenaline, I just completely forget about Big Tony and everyone else.
Who cares about that guy?
Yeah, so I end up just throwing the baton in the air and just forgetting. But I realized shortly after I did that, didn't I have that for a reason? And I turn around, and standing right behind me, right in front of me, is Big Tony, and he doesn't look happy. He's got a bit of blood coming off of his cheek, and he looks like he's having one of those days. You know, one of those days. What do I do when I see Big Tony? Caleb.
I think you start singing to him. I think that you can't. There's no way that you're gonna beat Terror Tony, you know, in a one-on-one fight. He's not gonna, you know. And so, it's similar to how, you know, Star-Lord does the dance off. You do a sing off. You just start singing. You just start hoping that with the power of your voice, you can distract him long enough for something else to happen here.
What am I singing to him? What is my first song in our ballad?
Don't Stop Believing.
Yeah, I think
The cheap perfume.
Yeah. Cheap perfume.
As a tear rolls down your face.
Please don't kill me now. I know you could snap my neck.
Should be a Bohemian Rhapsody.
Or that. It's also coming.
Easy come, easy go. Will you let me go?
No, it's me locked door.
Let him go.
I just imagine Big Tony. Bismillah. No.
Yep.
Okay. Seth, for one more penny. What you got going on in that pretty little head of yours?
Also, I just want to say
apparently at least 3 thoughts.
At least 2, possibly 3. I was just gonna say, if it's Bohemian Rhapsody, Tony also gets mad, thinking, "You are not supposed to choose this for karaoke. It's too long."
I had this conversation.
I'm thinking.
Oh no, I was gonna say Seth has one thought, yes, but what about second thought?
So I'm thinking back to all the other memories.
Let's start a riot. Start singing, what is love? Tony, don't hurt me. Tony, don't hurt me.
You just do a medley, you know?
Wait a second. Zooming in on this. Oh wait, that's Jordan. Wait. Jordan's bad, unpleasant memory has the bonding over a lemonade stand.
Oh yeah.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
That time when my
Actually-
daughter and I totally bonded over lemonade
Oops,
stand.
I forgot. to
And then
change that
he
one.
killed a kid and got arrested. Did he kill your daughter, Caleb?
Nope.
No, his daughter sued him. Remember?
I remember.
I know, I'm
being
trying to-
on the roof with the
Oh.
groupies and my wife
Okay.
and doing drugs.
I think I got something.
That's what
You-
actually happened.
You begin to hear the sound of alarms, which bring your thoughts back to the sirens in your partying days. And you turn to Big Tony and you look at him like, do you hear sirens? Do you know? It's like, no, you just think like you think, oh no, oh, you hear the sirens
We're all
and
so tired.
you're just a little. You hear the sound of the sirens and you're almost just like brought back to your past of your party days, and like it all just seems so familiar yet so different at the same time.
A lot more violent, turns out.
Yeah, well, not probably just as violent. A lot more people in orange.
That's the main difference.
No, it's
A lot more
about
people
the
in
same.
orange.
It's really unflattering on most skin tones.
I mean, sulfur's kind of got that orangey tone anyway, and we
Hey,
got kind of a thing.
I'm the sulfur guy.
Yeah, but my band was Metal and
Oh,
Metal and silver.
That's right.
That would be an interesting name for like a movie. I'm the sulfur guy.
The Sulfur Guy, starring
The sulfur guy.
See,
Seth Rogen as.
Yeah, that's basically exactly what I was thinking, right? Yeah.
something along the lines of the prison alarms, kind of making you think of the police sirens.
Okay. That's a really good idea. I think I'm gonna go with that just because it makes sense.
All
Caleb's
the
idea is
pennies
really-
for Seth.
All the pennies to Seth.
But Caleb's idea is also really, really funny. So I could go with the funny one, or I could go with
Oh wait. Oh, okay. I thought you already chose.
there's only one way to decide. Alyssa, pick. No, I'm kidding.
I'll just come up with my own scenario, even though I have no clue what's going on.
I mean, can we do
And
that?
then an
Is this-
alien comes down from the sky.
Excuse me, Alyssa, I don't think you read appendix number 1.
Did you not read the facts and reassurances document?
You're gonna have to rewatch this later, Alyssa.
Oh, I will.
It's been great.
It's been interesting, that's for sure.
Come on, Jordan. You don't have a penny anywhere in here. I mean, that makes sense.
Sense.
Ah,
Wow.
you're not the
The
only
fun
one
game is
capable.
very high right now.
Oh, you have no idea. I've been keeping this up like the whole night. I've gotten booed out of the chat like multiple times. I bring the pawns to the club.
Okay, let's hurry it up because I'm ready for another bathroom break.
Do you want me to roll my
You tried
dice?
to pee so many times.
I don't know what's wrong with me. I go a 12-hour shift at work and I don't go to the bathroom and I'm fine. And then this happens and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm holding it every 5 minutes.
Okay. What do you want for evens and odds?
Okay.
Note, it
Caleb's
has lighted
odd.
odds
We already
twice.
established that I'm the odd one here.
Caleb's odd, you're
Seth will
even.
have odds. Seth will have evens. If it's a nat 20, we give it to Alyssa.
So to choose.
To choose.
That's a 3. That's another odd.
Halo Valiant!
Sing
Party,
off.
party!
Yay,
So,
get up on any.
As he's about to just totally pound me, we decided like it's a medley, right?
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
And as soon as he's about to pound me, I'm like, I just start going right into Bohemian Rhapsody. Is this the real life? Is this just fantasy?
What are you doing?
He just stops
Yeah.
as I'm about to pound him, and he just kind of looks at me and slowly lowers his hand with a confused look on his face.
I
And
like mine. Like,
yeah, Exactly. And I skip ahead in the song a little bit, and I say, "Easy come, easy go, will you let me go?" And he just goes, "Bismillah, no, I will not let you go." And he raises his fist again. It's like, "No, let me go!" Oh, and I think of a different song, and I switch to "Tony, don't hurt me." "Tony, don't hurt me. Tony, don't hurt me no more." And then he goes, "What is love?" And he brings down his fist into my head, and that's the last thing I remember.
There we go.
Awesome.
The tamest one yet, I think. Actually.
So when you think of throwing your phone across the room, you remember
When I was going to jail, and the stupid cop person took my everything.
when I was in prison and I started a riot. How did you lose your memory?
Blunt force trauma.
Big Tony.
That's a better answer. Big Tony.
Tony. So, now we have reached the last part of the game.
Let me guess, Seth wins.
There's no
there-
winner.
But
I think
will.
we're all losers here.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, if there was a winner, it would be Seth. Maybe not his character.
Oh,
I
I'm
think out of
blind.
Everyone has completed the 3 sections of their questionnaires. Now you must all complete the final section. Do you want to remember your past? It is our hope that by confronting your choices and their consequences, you'll have come to terms with them and be able to return to a relatively normal life. Depending on the circumstances that led to your amnesia, however, you may decide that it is better for you to forget your past. I do not recommend this option, but it is available to you, and it is a choice that only you can make. Once you answer, briefly explain why you made that decision to your fellow patients.
do we go in some magic order, or?
There's no specific order.
I remember my past parties.
And killing someone,
I mean,
throwing your wife off a building.
hey, she was being annoying. Okay, if I ever
Okay.
start dating someone, do not ever tell her about this campaign.
Oh, Jordan, I'm going to play this at your wedding.
It's in the background as you're saying your vows.
Honey,
Just play this
I'm
sound clip.
sorry. Oh no, that's not going to be helpful because you're going to be able to cut everything out.
Uh-huh. I have complete creative control, my friend.
Crap.
So,
I'm going to say yes, I want to remember.
Say yes to the dress.
Yes, I'm saying yes to the dress. I know it's a panina, but it's so nice and I love it. Yes, so I do want to get my memories back because as of right now, whenever I am getting flashes of things, it's just painful. And so I just want to remember everything so it stops being painful right now, even if I'm remembering good and bad things.
I don't think I want to remember my past. I think I regret too much.
Yeah, I thought you might not.
Yeah.
I think I would rather be in complete oblivion.
I mean, someday you might be. I recommend picking up a book at your local store. A little book called the BIBL.
I think in a similar vein, I would not want to remember my past because all that is left behind me is pain.
It's true. Literal and metaphorical.
Literal and figurative. Not that I can.
Lots of scalding.
Lots, yeah.
In multiple forms.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There was lots of fire tonight.
All of the patients who chosen to not remember should return any pennies they still have to the bowl.
Oh.
So the people that have the most pennies return all of their pennies. Those who want to remember their past should keep their pennies. So Emily, you have 1 penny and Jordan has 2 pennies.
Nice.
Your session is now ended. Those of you who chose to remember should have your memories intact. Those who do not will find that you have forgotten the session entirely.
What session?
We here at the Institute hope everything has gone well for you. Please join hands and repeat together one final time. A penny for my thoughts.
A penny for my thoughts.
A penny for my thoughts.
This will be our signal that you are finished and for the nurse to come and assist you.
Oh!
I'm here to assist you.
The end.
That
For
was
people watching on stream, it's funny because I'm a nurse.
that was like
Hello, nurse.
that was like really fun and like really depressing.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna go to the bathroom.
Do it.
This is the second time in a row. Okay, Alyssa, you have to be here more often because anytime you're not here and the rest of us are, it's usually really, really depressing.
Well, that's the thing is that we played Fiasco one time without you, Jordan, and that was super duper depressing.
It was really like happy-go-lucky until the very end.
The very, very end, and then it was like Seth's character died. I found out that Caleb cheated on me,
Yep.
You
and
were paralyzed.
I was
You were
paralyzed,
paralyzed.
so I was stuck with him.
Yep.
And yep.
So there you go. That was a penny for my thoughts. We'll go ahead and end the stream here so we can have all sorts of discussion afterwards. Thanks for watching, those who were in chat. And yeah, we're out.